Hello everybody, it's Joel, your host, and welcome to the Joel Let Me Show, where today I'm going to be showing you guys how to replace both the power and volume button module as well as the joysticks on a Nintendo Switch Lite. If you would like to use the same parts and tools that I'm going to be using in today's video, purchasing a 2, 4, or 6 pack of the Sauce Gaming joysticks will get you the necessary tools like the screwdrivers and the picks to perform both of these repairs. So the 4-pack of joysticks cost me $16 off of Amazon, and if you would like to pay $3 more for a 6-pack, you can get that, and then $14 for a 2-pack. And the Zahara gaming unit that I'll be using today for replacing the power and volume button module cost me $8, so those will be linked in the description for anybody interested. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with disassembly. And conveniently, some of it has already been done for me, as the console that I will be working on today is a pink Nintendo Switch Lite that I got off of Facebook Marketplace, being marketed as a parts-only non-functioning machine for a whopping, are you ready for it, $25. That's right, $25 for a console that, all things considered, is in pretty good shape, that brand new would have cost $100. That's a quarter of the price for a console that not only does actually work, as far as this Switch Lite is concerned, it's completely fine, but as you can see there, it also came with a free copy of Minecraft, which is a pretty cool game to get for free as far as I'm concerned, so that's a win-win in my books. Opening up our pack of joysticks will show us the tools that we have to work with today. We have a couple of screwdrivers, both tri-wing and Phillips, and a couple of different sizes, as well as 2 plastic picks, one of them being a so-called guitar pick, as they are sometimes referred to as. These have a lot of surface area, which is great for kind of using them as a wedge. To get inside, we have to look at the back here, where there are 4 tri-wing tip screws, and on the bottom there are 2 Phillips head screws on either side of the power slot, and then there are 2 more, or supposed to be 2 more, on either side of the top of the console. There we go. And just like that, we have the 2 sections apart. Technically, you're supposed to open it the other way. And yeah, I don't see any breaks in the... Oh! Do you see what I see? Look at that right there. The power volume button module isn't even connected. And with the rear portion of the case removed from the Switch Lite, we can get a closer look at what exactly was going on in here. Now, for the sake of those of you that are watching, for replacing this little array or module with the buttons on it, I've reassembled everything to how it is supposed to be and how it will look for those of you that have a console that has not been taken apart before. There are little switches here. Not all ribbon cable connectors have switches like this, and some don't even have switches at all, but most do. These ones flip up just like that, as you can see, but some, in kind of the instance of iPhones, they will kind of just pull straight out to unlock them, and you just kind of push them down to lock them again. And what this does is it clamps down on the cable itself, and now that this is unlocked, there are little tabs on the cable, and we can pull it out. And as you can see, this array, or this little ribbon cable, and the board itself is still in good condition, thankfully. And I want to quickly talk about this while it is out to be able to tell you guys how to identify whether or not a ribbon cable is broken. This yellow translucent plastic, and I will show one of the new joysticks, these also have ribbon cables. The plastic is blue, and they have those dark lines inside. These dark lines are the individual traces. They are basically wires. Thankfully, none of these traces seem to be broken. This is the main thing you want to look for if any of these dark spots have a split in them. And obviously, if this plastic is kind of broken to the point where it is breaching these little dark spots, because it isolates these little pieces of metal from each other. If this plastic is broken to the point where it allows these traces to touch each other, then the messages from these different components can intersect each other and will obviously not work correctly. But thankfully, this board seems to be in good condition. And as for reassembly, you basically just reverse your steps. There are tabs right here on the top. You can see if I reinsert the board, they kind of grab it just like that. And then you want to make sure that the ribbon cable sits inside of its little channel that is molded into the housing. And once that is pressed down just like that, we can grab the cable and put it back into the connector and kind of pull its little tabs back into place. And then we can put that switch back down. And now this repair is done. And if this is all you were doing, replacing that little board with the power and volume buttons on it, you're done. You take the rear housing, clip it back into place. Now the first step of replacing the joysticks, or basically just accessing them, is undoing all of the things that we just did. So we have to open this connector once again, remove our cable, lifting up on it just a little bit, and then we can pull this back out, setting that to the side, and then we have to remove this metal plate that is covering the motherboard. There are 4 screws, 3 of the same type, one in the top left, one in the middle, and one in the bottom right, and then there is one right here that goes through a contact pad on the motherboard that is sort of like a yellow anodized color. So I'm going to separate that one and put it to the side. The other 3 are the same length, and then we can remove this metal plate just by lifting up just like that. And be cautious of grabbing the back side of this. It will have some thermal paste on the back there. I would advise replacing thermal paste whenever you have it exposed, but I don't have any on me, so I'm going to be reusing the old stuff. But I don't believe that will be an issue, as most of this is still hydrated enough and it's not too dried out, so we will work quickly as to get it sealed back up. And then there are 3 screws on the heatsink here, and there is a little bit of mesh holding it, but with the help of some tweezers being able to kind of cut that, we have got the heatsink off. And at this point we can remove the fan. And with those 3 screws removed, there is a switch here on the ribbon cable for the fan that can be flipped up just like that, and then we can grab these tabs and pull the connector for the fan out. And then the entire fan slides out just like that. And at this point, now we can start removing the screws for the headphone jack and game cartridge combo unit. And just like that, our motherboard can be removed and set to the side. And now we get our first look at our broken joystick. Now, I would like to mention that it is very, very useful and saves a lot of time and fatigue to just take out this speaker unit with the motherboard, as these little connectors are very fiddly, and for the sake of these very, very flimsy little wires, I don't want to fiddle around with it too much. So I'm just taking it out as one whole unit. Now we can go ahead and access our joystick, which just has 2 simple Phillips head screws on the back. And just like that, we can grab the old joystick out, and you can see our gasket has perfectly protected the interior of the console, and all of the dust has been stopped right at the line there. We can grab a new joystick and put it in its place. And this joystick is now replaced. As you can see, it is now black, but it is replaced. And before I reinstall the motherboard, I'm just going to wipe off the back of any components that I may have touched. It'd be a very good idea not to use a paper towel like I am doing, because little fibers of the paper towel can get in places that they're not supposed to. And just like that, we can grab the entire motherboard, and we will have to kind of orchestrate the speaker unit here as it sits underneath the motherboard. And now that the new joystick is installed and the motherboard is back inside of the console, I will go ahead and reinstall all of the components that we had taken out. Now the first step of replacing the joysticks, or basically just accessing them, is we have to open this connector, remove our cable, lifting up on it just a little bit, and then we can pull this back out. And there comes our second board. We can set that to the side, and there is our second joystick. We will go ahead and replace this just the same as the other one, removing these two Phillips head screws. If we're careful, if you kind of wedge it out, you can make sure the gasket stays in there, because these do have adhesive on them and they can rip if you're not careful with them. So here comes our second new joystick, and we will do the same thing and kind of wedge it in there. And just like that, we can put our screws back in. Both joysticks have been replaced, and now it is just a game of reassembly. And just like that, at this point, this Nintendo Switch Lite should be in functioning order. And if I press the power button, it should turn on. I'll have to kind of crudely press it, but here goes nothing. Hey! Funny how that works. So our power button works, and with any luck, our volume buttons will work as well. So let's go ahead and try volume. I believe this is up. Hey, volume up, volume down. Left joystick works. Your right joystick works. Cool. Let's go ahead and put in Minecraft. Okay. I'm gonna play as Joel, because I am Joel. It was in this Switch's destiny to make it into my possession. Ironically, one of the accounts was already named after me. I have to turn that off. There we go. We're going to play on my world for the first time since November 21st of 2021. We'll just update it. That trigger works. We can dig in the dirt. So there is the testing done. Let's go ahead and throw the rear portion of the case back on, and this Switch will be officially repaired. Jeez, do I even want to know how old these drops are? Hey, I found it! The thing that was in the thumbnail. There's a lot of arrows. What? I have no idea what this thing is supposed to be. I'm just going to assume that it's a pig. And there you have it, the $25 Facebook Marketplace Nintendo Switch Lite playing its free copy of Minecraft with its equally as delightful pig resembling thing. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself it is. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, it would be greatly appreciated if you could hit that like button, and if you'd like to see more of my content going into the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell if you'd like to see said content as soon as it comes out. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one.